my crime was committed here in Dallas. Every Wednesday morning, I meet with a group of Christian men in a little coffee shop that is less than a half a mile from where I took the life of my dope dealer. And every week I think about that, the difference in my life then and now. I'm just sorry that I wasted so many years in that misery, causing such pain and destruction all around me. Start out my day with a little scripture reading down here, but I don't want this to seem too contrived. After being conditioned to time ticking very slowly in prison for 22 years, I am overwhelmed with all the tasks and duties and things that I need to do and want to do. So many of my guys say when they get out, it seems like everywhere in society, everyone's going 90 miles an hour. And they feel like the world is a freeway of people speeding by, and they've got to the top of the on-ramp and they're sitting completely still, and they don't ever see an opportunity to really just jump in and go because nobody will slow down and give them an opportunity to do that. And I've felt that too. It is so difficult for folks who get out of prison. Either you go back to the same environment that you've proven that you can't live in, or you've got no place to go. It's no wonder to me that historically 2/3 of the people go back to prison within 3 years. Everything's set up against them. I had a life sentence for murder, and about a year and a half into my incarceration, I connected with a Lutheran preacher, and it was crazy because he didn't cram the Bible. I don't even remember us talking that much about God. He just listened to me and encouraged me and seemed to care about me. And being around Christian men like that, it was, different for me. Most of the men I grew up around were alcoholic construction workers. They worked hard, they drank hard, they cussed hard, they treated their women hard. So I told the Lutheran preacher, I said, man, I need to tell you something. Can we talk? So he said, sure. We went off to the side, and I broke down and told him all about my crime, all the details, and that I'd never told anybody. And he looked at me at the end and he said, Bryan, first of all, I want you to know it is an honor that you would share something so heavy with me first. He said, but more importantly, I want you to know you need to ask God to forgive you, and I promise you He will. And finally that day, I got down on my knees and I handed over broken pieces to God and said, I'm sorry, it's nothing but wreckage, but clearly I don't know how to live life. Here you go. And He took those broken pieces and crafted them into a masterpiece that still blows me away every single day. Spoke with a parole commissioner my 13th time up for parole after 12 denials. I had made parole. He told me what it was going to be like when I got out. And he asked me if I had any questions. I said, I've only got one question. Will you give me parole next year? And he's like, what? And I go, well, I would really like to go through PEP and develop a business plan. He gave me parole for the following year. I basically, after doing 20 years in prison, asked to stay another year so I could go through PEP because I knew how special it was and I knew the opportunities that I was going to have. PEP started 13 years ago. Since then, we've had about 1,700 graduates, about 300 businesses started, top 6 of which had revenues of over $1 million, reduced their recidivism rate, the rate at which men go back to prison, to below 7%. At the 3-year mark, for a guy who's went through PEP, about 42% own homes, are engaged in a church in their community and their families. It's just an amazing opportunity for folks who otherwise normally wouldn't have that. Baylor has always been a huge supporter of PEP, and it goes back to the very beginning. We partner all of our guys with a business plan advisor done strictly by email, so students, especially MBA students, can become a business plan advisor, and basically it's their first consulting gig that's real, it's hands-on, so they help a guy develop their business plan, do some market research, and help them chart a course to start, a sole proprietorship or whatever. And we encourage them to come to the unit to visit the guys, typically on business plan workshops, so they can sit down face-to-face with the men that they've been working with via email, and really hammer out the final pieces and put it all together so that they can have a robust pitch for our business plan competition. It may seem like you're just doing a little market research. It may seem like you're critiquing a few paragraphs here and there in his business plan, but you're helping to shape a man to become what he never thought he could be. What a great way to give back, to give forward, to impact a life. And then especially when you show up at the unit event and you get to meet that man that you've been working with face to face and see and feel the appreciation, the hope, the excitement of a new life. You cannot put a price tag on that. It's huge. This Lutheran preacher, I never got to see him again. When I got out, I was living in the transitional house here, and we talked once or twice on the phone. And he said, Bryan, from time to time I get to Dallas. Next time I come by, we'll have some coffee together. But the Lord took him home before we were able to do that. And so he had told me, he said, we'll have that cup of coffee sometime, either on this side or the next. He greatly impacted my life just because he stopped and didn't judge me and was patient with me. Just made an environment where truth could be present with love. And I try to do the same thing for others, probably not to the extent that he did for me, but he gave me a great model.